So that's what happens here. All right, good. Then the total amount, the total balance that is, the total amount after 3 years is $1,000. Excuse me, let me go back to the slide. It's P sub 0 times 1 plus R times T, which is the same as the initial balance plus the total interest. So we have $1,000 times 1 plus 0.05 times 3, which is this, which is 1,150. So yeah, we could have just used the formulas. By doing the calculation, I'm hoping to illustrate the idea behind simple interest. Again, each year, the total interest that's added on is the same. It doesn't change. That's why it's called simple interest. Okay? You only calculate it using the starting balance. You keep on adding it on. As opposed to compound interest, which we'll see shortly. In that case, what would happen here would be you would keep recalculating the interest, and because of that, the interest that's earned would increase as well. But we'll see that shortly. Okay, so that's one example. Well, let's do another one. Okay, so let's suppose someone named Mary, again, these names I came up with randomly, borrows $1,200 from a friend. And she agrees to repay, pay back the friend at 8% simple interest for 7 years. Okay, so we're going to just use the formulas. Well, our R here is 0.08, right? This is the APR, which is our percent. So R is 0.08. The initial balance is 1,200. That's our P0. This loan is going on for 7 years, as you can see. So the total amount owed, the balance of the loan, right? The total amount T years later, or in this case, 7 years later, we're calculating A, this is the formula, from the other slide, right? That's going to be 1,200 times 1 plus R, 0.08 times 7T, which turns out to be this, $1,872. So not only would you have to pay your friend, not only would Mary have to pay her friend $1,200, the original loan, she's paying more, right? Well, that more was the interest. In fact, what is the interest? You could just use the formula. So we really didn't have to do this if we just wanted the interest. That's just P sub 0 times R times T, which is this. The initial amount, the initial balance, one second, please. The initial balance times 0.08 times 7. And that's $672. That's what that works out to be. Unless I made a calculation error. I don't think I did. Let me double check. Nope, I'm right. Someone had a question?
Yeah, so in the equation, where it's A equals that bottom, that really long, that. Each number, what is each equals I'm just confused on why it's so long. There's 6 equal signs.
No, I was just showing you all the calculations. That's all. I mean,
it's each different calculation?
Yeah, that's all I'm doing, but you can do them all at once. So
okay.
That's all.
Yeah, I was really confused. I was like, wait, why are we putting in the same number 6? Okay.
No. Okay. I was just trying to show all the steps, so.
All right, I'm mistaken then. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Good question, though. Awesome question. Any other questions? Okay, now that is with simple interest, okay? Now let's kick it up a notch and consider compound interest. So suppose now we decide to invest $1,000 into an account. the APR is 6%. But now let's suppose it's compounded yearly. What's going to happen? Well, after year one, a year goes by, how much will be in the account? What would the balance be? Well, it's the original amount, but we're adding on the interest. Again, we're also assuming in this case, there's no extra deposits and there's no extra withdrawals. No deposits from us, in other words. I think you could model that, but it gets more complicated. But anyway, we have $1,000, right? And we get the interest, which is 6% of $1,000, right? This is our interest. Well, what's that going to be? $1,000 plus 0.06 times 1,000. Okay, again, to get the interest after a year, you use the APR, right? You convert it to a decimal and multiply. So we get 1,000 plus 60, which is $1,060. So this is how much is this is the balance after 1 year, after year one. Okay, so let's move on to year two. Watch this. What's the new amount after year two going to be? We're going to calculate interest again. In other words, the balance is this, 1,060. The interest we earn now is 6% of that balance, 1,060. Right? We're recalculating interest here. So we get 1,060, that was the old balance, plus the interest, which is 6% of 1,060, which is this. 0.06 times 1,060, which equals this amount. I mean, I did round it a bit, but actually one decimal place, not two. So we get, when you add them up, you get 1,123.6. So in other words, $1,123.60. That's what happens. But again, notice, well, actually, let me do year three first. Year three here, how much is in the account is $1,123.60. That's the old balance, right? That's what we got here. But again, year three, we're going to calculate interest again. This is compound interest. So every time you, sorry, getting ahead of myself. So the interest now is 6% of $1,123.60. This is the interest we add on this time, which equals this. This is the old balance, how much was in there, plus the new interest, so to say, which is 6% of $1,123.60, which is 0.06 times this, which is equal to this. This is just direct calculation. I definitely could not do this in my head. So we have this here. And you just add them, and this is what you get here. Now, hopefully, well, yeah. So from here, notice that for the interest, we keep on recalculating. The total interest, the interest we're adding on each year is increasing. We're calculating a percent of a larger balance, right? First we did a percent of 1,000. That was in year one. And when you add the interest, you have 1,060. But now we recalculate the interest again, and we add that on. That's why we got higher interest, because the balance went up. It's not like with simple interest where we calculated the interest only one time, and we kept on adding that, the same amount, as in simple interest. In this case, we keep recalculating the interest. So the interest added each year is increasing. And if we were to do this for many years, this is what would happen. I actually did this using Excel, just letting you know. But you can see, though, that, excuse me, that the, that the interest is going up and up as well, mostly because the balance is. And again, each year you recalculate the interest. Well, let me finish, please. Each year we're recalculating the interest. Okay? You know, so after year 4, we would get 6% of this. This is the interest that we would get and add that on. And we keep on doing this. And I just did it for 12 years, you know, just, I guess that 12 is kind of random. Someone had a question?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so the difference between simple interest and compound interest is that
Hmm?
compound interest go up and simple interest stay the same interest.
Right. Yeah, the interest does, right.
Okay, and
Because each time it's compounded, I'm sorry, what?
is the interest going up due to like the starting balance going up, or it's just because it's the compound interest period?
It's compound interest, so every time it's compounded, so if it's compounded yearly, you recalculate the interest each time on the starting balance of that year.
Okay.
So you keep on recalculating interest. So here we calculated the interest on this balance. That's how we got $60. We added on. Year 2, this is the new starting balance. We're going to recalculate interest again, and that's how we got this, which is higher. We add that on. So we have here, this is the starting balance. Calculate interest again, which is 6% of this.
Oh, so it's still
Add that on.
6%.
What?
So it's still 6%.
Right, that's not changing, right?
Oh,
I mean, that's not always going to be 6%, but that's not changing here.
okay. Thank you.
And we keep on adding that. So basically, that's what's happening with compound interest. Each time it's compounded, you're recalculating how much interest to add. So.
And then the simple interest you calculate it with the original number instead of changing it every year.
Right. I mean, you only calculate it in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just keep adding on that same amount.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Are there any other questions? Very good question, though. Okay, let me do recording again.